Hey there everyone, Laurel here. Thanks for joining me today for another Simply Card Making video. I'm going to be making this card in my video today for my friend Jess. She has reached 2,000 subscribers on Instagram, so she put together a blog hop. There's prizes to be won, so be sure to hop along on Instagram and also on my blog for a giveaway as well. I will link to both of those below in the YouTube description. All right, so for today's card, I'm using two stamp sets, the Hidden Lane stamp set by Penny Black, and over there to the right is the Holiday Trimming stamp set, and that was one of the stamps that was in one of Catherine Pooler's stamp of approval boxes. It's the Holiday Magic collection. So I've got my Penny Black stamp here, and I'm using some different color distress inks to ink up the background here to create this watercolored scene. It's actually quite easy to do. It's almost embarrassing to show you how easy it is, but if it's something that I make, then you know it's a simple technique because that's what I focus on. I like simplicity, simple things, easy to do things, easy to recreate, things like that. The exact colors that I'm using, I will list below in the YouTube description and also on my blog. So the key is I'm making sure that my image gets completely inked up. Then I'm going to take a water bottle that's just filled with water and I'm going to spritz it onto my stamp. Then I'm going to take some watercolored cardstock and press it directly onto that stamped image. And then when you lift up your stamped image, look at this beautiful scene that is left behind. I think this is absolutely gorgeous. Now, if there's some puddles there that you don't like, you could take a paper towel or a cloth and kind of dab it away. I, however, am using my heat tool to push some of that ink around, kind of manipulate it a little bit, get it to where I want it to go. And at the same time, I'm drying it. Patience is not my virtue. I don't know if you guys are with me. So sometimes it's hard for me to just let something air dry and walk away and do something. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm killing two birds with one stone here. So now that I've got that all nice and dry, I want to show you how I created that white on there. I wanted the look of snow. I wanted to create a winter scene with this card. So at this point, I got smart and grabbed my Misti. This is the mini Misti. I don't know why I didn't use it the first time, but I wised up here, and I'm going to line up my stamp directly over the stamped impression. I'm going to take the door of the Misti, as I call it, press down to pick it up. It acts as an acrylic block. I'm going to ink up that stamp now with some Versamark ink, which is a clear sticky ink, great for heat embossing. Meanwhile, also destatified, is that a word? The stamped image I used an embossing buddy there just to remove some of the static because I only want my embossing powder to stick where I stamped it with the Versamark ink. So this is some white embossing powder. I'm just sprinkling it on here, and this is going to make it look like snow. So once I've got that all nice and sprinkled on, again, I'm going to take my heat gun. It's already warmed up from the when I used it on the watercolored panel. So I'm going to go ahead and melt it. When the heat gun is heated up, it actually melts your embossing powder quicker, and it also doesn't warp your cardstock. So keep that in mind when you're doing any kind of heat embossing. Give it a good 15 seconds if you can. Let it heat up before you take it to your project, and you will get more even results that way. All right, so now it's time to work on the card panel. I've gone ahead and trimmed this watercolored panel down. I'm going to set it aside. I'm going to grab some white cardstock. The white I always use is by Nina, and this, for my card bases, I always use 110-pound weight. So I'm going to take the striped image here. This is from the Holiday Trimmings stamp set that was in the Holiday Magic stamp of approval box by Catherine Pooler. Inking that striped image up with some Versamark ink here, and I'm going to stamp it right down there to the left and the right edges of my card base here. I'm going to use some Brutus Monroe embossing powders. I tell you, his embossing powders rock my world. I got him in every single color. This is his gold color, so I'm going to sprinkle that right onto where my Versamarked image is. So any place that Versamark ink is, the embossing powder is going to stick to. And then I'll go ahead and heat set that with my heat tool. I love that his bottles are wide-mouthed because it makes for funneling that embossing powder very easy. You know, them little skinny bottles with the skinny openings and your embossing powder winds up all over the desk. Yeah, well, you won't have that problem with his embossing powders. So once you go ahead and heat set that, now my heat tool is already heated up from using it previously on that watercolor panel, so it melted pretty quickly here. And then all that's left to do is adhere the watercolored panel that we created at the beginning of this video to the card base, and voila, the card is done, right? Pretty easy, simple to do, beautiful results just by using the distress inks and water, and anything that you add gold to is awesome. So Jess, congratulations on your 2,000 subscriber Instagram hop. Be sure to go to my Instagram linked below and leave a comment because she chooses from prizes there. She'll also choose from those that comment on the blog, so be sure to head over there. All the links are below. Thank you for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day. Bye-bye.